Well, a few days ago I did say that I'd stop making these Celtic rants, but after the press conference that took place early in the morning my time, that's why this video is not released sooner. As usual, I have to complete the day, and then I get my dinner, then I film these, and I live in Australia. So all these weird little Celtic updates come out at weird and wonderful times, to be honest. So, I did not think I'd be talking about Celtic again. I wanted to go into English football, only for this to happen. Neil Lennon to come out and, for lack of better words, make an absolute fool of himself in the press conference. Now, I know that Celtic fans out there are going to say, well, I know some of them are going to say, that Lennon is sticking up against the corruption of the SNP and Sky Sports. And I have no love for either of those two entities. I think there's a certain way of going about it. Okay, I know I do not like Pete Wall at the minute. I know he's nowhere near a Celtic hero in my eyes, but I'm going to give him credit where credit is due. At least he releases statements that are well written, that push the point across, and are wrote in a professional manner. Neil Lennon, on the other hand, just went on to that press conference showing like a buffoon, talking about coming back to a barrage of criticism, talking about how select members of the SNP and the media, oh, it's all great grand conspiracy. No, it's not, Neil. Okay, the fact is, 2 people have tested positive for the coronavirus, okay? And one of them tested positive after they returned into self-isolation. Now, to me, that shows that, yes, self-isolation was needed, because that player probably put across a false negative. And so now the concern has to be, where do we go from here? Neil Lennon has just completely wrecked his reputation. Okay, let's just be honest right there. In my opinion, what little left in terms of credibility that man had with this football club, it's went down the Swanee. Okay, at the minute, Celtic are going down shit creek without a paddle. And I'm just being brutally honest. Now, the fact is, I'm a Celtic supporter, as you can see from the band background. And just that last Celtic rant video got me all those views. But the fact is, I'd rather be talking about something else than having to keep coming back to this. But Celtic, time and time again, whether it be through a weak apology, poor performances, or this absolute crap, have been nothing short of an embarrassment this season. In fact, this rant that I'm going on right now is not just because of yesterday, even though yesterday was completely ridiculous. I do not see how the board would have approved that. Celtic have a media department who basically tell Lennon what they're going to say, how they're going to act, and what they're going to do. Now, excuse me if I'm wrong, but Lennon going off his head like a madman on day release, while calling for a grand conspiracy and saying that, having drinks was allowed, going on this tangent, that tangent, and some of his points just being completely incoherent. Where the hell did that come from? I mean, I know people are asking for Neil Lennon to show a bit of passion, because for months on end he's been sitting in the dugout, arms folded, just not having a good time with it. But that's not the way to do it. Good lord. And yet people wonder why Rangers have got their social media notifications on, following Celtic on Twitter, watching out to see what's happening on YouTube. I'll tell you why, because it's a damn laughing stock. Why pay for Netflix when you got all these comedy specials out there for free? Sweet Jesus, this club has just surpassed embarrassing, and as I said earlier, we are down shit creek without a paddle. And I know some people are saying that we're just one bad incident away from completely collapsing, but I think we've hit that point. This is the low of the low. And now I know that people are saying, oh, but you didn't go through it in the 90s and all that. Well, first of all, to all those people who keep on pounding home that point, I've got people in my family who went to games in the 90s, went to games all season. And yet now, they just tell me, sweet Jesus, I never want to go back. And if you're one of those people who keeps playing that, oh, you didn't see it in the 90s card, well, explain this one to me. Is this your point? You didn't see it in the 90s, so you have to accept mediocrity now. You have to accept absolute garbage now because you weren't around about 20 years ago. Is this the message that you are trying to press across? Because quite frankly, that doesn't make sense. Like, the fact is, sure, people... Well, I was, but sure, there are a lot of people who weren't around 25, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, all that malarkey. But the fact is, that does not give them any less of a right to express their opinion on the club. Like, the fact is, just because they've been privileged enough to see this period, which I've loved it, the 21st century, it's been fantastic for Celtic. I remember growing up as a kid watching the Celtic era and thinking, sweet Jesus, this is brilliant. Then going through Lennon's first term and now going through 9 in a row. Yes, that's all been a privilege, but at the end of the day, it does not make your opinion any less valid. The fact is, every Celtic fan has their own opinion. And, well, yes, if you are like that and you are still loyal to the club and are very much a supporter of Neil Lennon FC, look, buddy, go off and do it. I don't care. But at the end of the day, don't go and see people and say, oh, you're not backing the manager, you're not a real supporter. Because what the hell is a real supporter? Is a real supporter someone who's a season ticket holder? Is a real supporter someone who sings rebel songs like Lighting Off the Flares? Or is a real supporter someone who just wants to see their club progress? Someone who realises that what we're doing now is nowhere near what we could be doing. So next time, and this goes out to all Celtic supporters, treat each other well. The fact is, these are the hardest times that Celtic supporters have had to endure in decades. Okay, not even Tony Mowbray got this bad. So if you don't take anything away from it, it's just be kind to your fellow supporter. The fact is, all this arguing, all this is not going to do you any good. And if, for example, you want to get something off your chest, if you want to go out there and make videos like this, do it. Let your opinion be heard. But I'm blabbering on at the minute. Listen, hopefully this is the last Celtic video I have to make in a while. I won't be surprised if in a few days I have to make another one about a new manager. But I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But until then, I am hoping to have some more English content on the channel. And maybe just stay away from Scottish football for a few weeks. Except until my Europa League and Champions League predictions, which will be coming in late February. But until then, thank you for watching, thank you for coming by the channel, like, share and subscribe, take care, and oh sweet Jesus, if we do not see Lennon out by the end of the week, I've got to say at this point I would be surprised. So, thank you very much, and cheers.